everybody. Welcome to another episode of Scorebook Stories. It's playoff time, and I'm joined by another epic baseball fan. I did not play Little League with this guest, but I play semi-pro hockey with this guy, and he's a beauty. It's going to be a great time talking with my guy, Benny Cunningham. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing excellent. I'm ready to talk some baseball. I'm happy to be on the show here. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going great. We got to talk as much baseball as we can before the regular season starts, and it's all eyes are on hockey. Totally geared that way.
Yep.
100%. All right. So, Wildcard series ended. Epic matchups. 3 of the 4 series ended in a game 3. The only one that was a sweep was the Reds Dodgers, which I kind of expected. I'm not going to lie. I really thought the Dodgers they were going to handle the Reds. No problem.
Yeah.
And that leads to the first series of the NLDS, which is going to be epic. The Los Angeles Dodgers versus the Philadelphia Phillies. This feels more like a NLCS matchup to me.
I think for me, I'm taking the Phillies all the way this year. I'm not giving in to any of the Dodger nonsense anymore. I'm going all Phillies. I'm all in on the Phillies. I think they got something a lot more to play for this year. I like Sanchez starting game 1. Um, Against Otani. I think the Phillies are going to break open in game 1. And, it's going to be a close series and everything, but, I just think the Phillies are going all the way this year. If they get past the Dodgers, it's a fair game at that point.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, though. Like, Otani, I think, is not going to be a offensive threat as much when he is pitching in game 1. After that, the Phillies are definitely going to have to pitch to him a little bit more carefully because his numbers versus being strictly DH versus while he's pitching are drastically different from what I have seen. But overall, the Phillies, I think, are the heavy favorites to make it to the World Series, and they kind of are in a win now situation. Like, they have to win. They have a lot of big contracts coming up. They won the regular season series against the Dodgers 4-2, but will not having Zach Wheeler pose an issue against the Dodgers and potential future matchups if they get past this round?
Yeah, the Dodgers, they've had, in my opinion, probably the best team in baseball for the past, 4 or 5 years now. But all good things come to an end.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think it's going to be an epic matchup, though. I think this one's going to go
Freaking
probably
Cubs
all
Brewers
5.
are central. That's what I'm looking forward to.
You're looking forward to the Cubs Brewers. That's going to be a great matchup too. AL Central, Padres, I really thought they were going to have some kind of fire, but they just did what the Padres always do in the postseason, unfortunately. They just kind of fell flat on their
Yep.
face. A lot of these really big moves they made at the deadline did not pay off the way that they wanted them to, and it kind of stunk. But the Cubs looked unbelievable, and especially last night in Game 3, as we're recording this, Game 3, the Cubs were doing everything, spectacular play after spectacular play in order to advance to the NLDS. It was unbelievable, and I'm I'm pumped that the Cubbies are able to move on and take on the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah. Yeah, and for me, it's I'm a big Pirates fan, right? And for the past however many years, I've been kind of wanting to see a team from the Central go all the way, and I think the Central having 3 teams, get in to playoff positions this year is pretty impressive. And even just like going back to the Reds, like the chances there of them even getting in and people probably counting them out and stuff, and then making it was just super impressive to me. And it kind of like is satisfying a little bit to see guys like Brian Hayes and even like we were talking Zach Little pitching playoff baseball, like certain guys that you don't usually see in the postseason out there. Like it was pretty cool to watch. And I think as for this series coming up between the Brewers and the Cubs, it's going to be really exciting for anybody anybody in the Central. I think it's going to show who the top dog is. I believe it's the Cubs. Um, that's just me. I think the Brew crew, to me they're pretty streaky, and they're not a playoff team. I think the Cubs are kind of fresh right now, and they're just due. They're so due. I think Pete Crow
Yeah.
Armstrong. You got Boyd starting on Sat or tomorrow. I mean, they got a good rotation. I like their bullpen. I think they got the most solid bullpen in the Central. So yeah, I mean, I'd be taking the Cubbies.
Yeah, and the Cubs did narrowly win the season series 7-6. They took
Yeah,
7 games, and unfortunately, the Cubs will not have the front runner for the NL Rookie of the Year in Cade Horton for this series. He could be back for the ALCS or the NLCS, excuse me, if they make it there. The Brewers honestly were one of the hottest teams in the MLB for several months, but they
yeah,
slowly kind of have been cooling off as of late, and I think if they can get themselves back to the same level of production they were in August, late July, they're going to be a difficult team to beat for anybody.
yeah.
Dodgers, Phillies, Cubs, doesn't matter. They're going to be an absolute problem for someone down the line if they can manage to get back to that level of production.
And just to kind of rewind a little bit with San Diego, um, I don't know. Like, I'm not a big San Diego fan or anything, but I feel like they hit enough in that series. Like they did enough. I feel like to try and score runs, but it just came down to scoring runs. And also, I mean when you get 7 hits in a game, I mean it's not all that much, but you get one run, and then you know Wednesday's game. I mean they only had three. I mean in that whole series they put up 5 runs, and it's just in 3 games. It's just like, I mean, and you got so many hits too, so many base runners. Like you just got to find ways to score runs, and that's kind of where I can relate with the Pirates there.
Yeah, no run support for Nick Pivetta really on in game 3 there. But like the Padres,
Yep.
they did so much. They went out of their way. They made huge moves, big deals, all trade deadline long. I think they were one of the top teams that made the most moves at the deadline for big name stars that were going to get them over this
Yep.
hump. And it didn't pan out. Now, I will admit there was some pretty bad home plate umpiring going on in that game, in that last game. I was pretty shocked in the entire, like, I think it was bottom of the 8th, bottom of the ninth, something like that. It was not going well, and that umpire was not calling anything in favor of the Padres. But the Cubs still went, they were making play after play, like the Dansby Swanson jumping higher than I think I've ever seen him jump to knock down
No.
a ball, knock down a certified double and get Arias out at first. Horner leaping and flying through the air to pull down a line drive into the gap. Like those were the kind of plays the Cubs were making. They were not going to let the Padres beat them on Wednesday night. And I think that's going to be something that really motivates this club to make it past Milwaukee. And
They
should
got great
Milwaukee,
defenders.
yeah, they do. Unbelievable. And should Milwaukee
Yeah.
make it past the Cubs and end up playing the Phillies, they struggled all year against Milwaukee.
Yeah.
They need to find an extra gear to figure out how to beat the Brewers, or their World Series hopes are gone.
Yep. Agreed. Honestly.
It's gonna be unreal. But right now, I think my prediction for the LCS is gonna have to be Philadelphia versus Milwaukee. I feel
Yeah,
like
I, I
it
can
has to be.
I can see where you're coming from there. The Cubbies, man, they're just Milwaukee's been wasting time. They keep taking the Central, and they're just wasting it away. Team
Yeah.
from the Central needs to make it past the DS this year. Like
Well, a
it's
team from the
it's
Central is
way
gonna make it
overdue.
past the DS this year.
They are, but that's what I'm saying. It had to happen this year. But the Brewers, it's just like so overdue. I just feel like. I mean, yeah, they had a great hot streak there for a while, and it was pretty impressive. But I don't know. I guess it's just something about being a Pirates fan. You hate the Brewers a little bit more because they win. They're always the top of the division. I don't know. I guess that's it. Um,
Yeah.
Not to go off topic here, but could we, just talk a little bit about Schlittler? Like, where
Yeah,
this
we're
guy
gonna we're
came
gonna
from.
we're gonna dive into him once we get into this into the AL side of things here.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna get there because he was unbelievable in
Yeah,
that game 3 against the Red Sox. I knew it as soon as I saw Schlittler and Early were gonna be the starters for that game. It was gonna be magic or disaster for both of these
yep,
clubs. Like it was high risk, high reward move by Cora and Booney. It was an unbelievable matchup. And
yep,
yes, the Yankees did pick up the win 4-0, but oh my gosh, early was phenomenal. I was
yep.
so impressed with the way he was pitching all day long. I was honestly surprised that he only went 3 2/3. Like I
I
thought he
mean,
was going to be able to hang in there for a lot more
yeah,
than that.
and maybe it was. I don't know. Like, I mean, you could tell like when he's throwing that sinker and that fastball, like there's a lot of command there. Like there's a lot of like he's putting it in there. It's not just
Yeah, he was
like
dotting
he's
up the zone.
yeah. 94 looked a little harder than that to me just from watching. So I don't know. Maybe he just kind of went a little too hard there. Like I don't know. I maybe he got. I mean, I thought he looked good pretty much the entirety of that game or those first 3 or 4 innings until I mean, what was it like back to back to back hits? Like they were just piling on.
Yeah, it was that fourth inning really just got away from him.
Yeah,
And like the Yankees only had 8 hits, 10 total bases in that game.
yeah,
Seven
and
runners,
that's the
seven
only
runners left on.
yeah that was the only inning of runs being scored that whole game. So
Yeah,
yeah,
just the fourth. The Yankees put up 4 in the fourth, and the Red Sox just couldn't recover. And I think a lot of that has to do with Cora really going all out in game 2 with the bullpen. He pitched nearly his entire bullpen in game 2, leaving him very little arms for the final game of the series. And I think that potentially is what hurt him because Early, unfortunately, got into trouble in the fourth and he didn't really have the arms to get all the way to the end. Luckily, no more runs were scored, but the way Schlittler was throwing the ball, I don't think there was a shot. As soon as the Yankees put up 1 run, they
yeah,
had the win. 8 innings, only 5 hits allowed, 12 strikeouts, 107 pitches, 75 of them for strikes, no walks, didn't walk a single batter.
got
Unbelievable
the job done,
performance by
man.
this kid. Unbelievable. And just lets David Bednar come on in, pick up the save.
The renegade.
Yep, that makes you feel a little happy. It must
Yeah,
seeing a
yeah.
pirate in a Yankee uniform.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's
We're gonna
just
see
it
many
was
more of those moving forward.
yeah, can't wait for Paul Skeens to don the pinstripes. It's gonna be beautiful. But
Yeah,
that dominant performance by Cam Schlittler advanced the Yankees to the ALDS, where they are going to take on the Toronto Blue Jays, who have had the Yankees number all season long. Toronto comes away with the season series 8-5 over the Yankees. Position by position, though, I think the Yankees have the advantage pretty much everywhere on the field except designated hitter, first base, most likely catcher, and the bullpen. The Toronto
yeah,
bullpen is significantly better than the Yankees bullpen. The Yankees, I think, have better names. And if you go
yeah,
by what their expectations are, the Yankees have the better bullpen. But on the field, watching them play, Toronto definitely has a more reliable bullpen. It's been proven over the entire season. And I don't really see a reason to doubt that at this point. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is definitely a better bat than Ben Rice and Paul Goldschmidt. Probably a little bit of a slight edge when it comes to fielding. That I think is more
yeah,
up for debate. Springer is obviously more useful as a DH and on the bases than Giancarlo Stanton. Unless Stanton's hitting
yeah,
home runs, he's kind of just out there, and the Yankees have to play station to station, which is not their game. And
yeah,
Kirk versus Wells, I think that's a close matchup as well. But like Kirk is he's proven that he's just so clutch that I think I got to give the edge to Alejandro Kirk.
yeah.
Unbelievable catcher in him.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a sick series to watch.
Oh yeah. I mean, I personally, I think it's gonna. I mean, you look at Toronto's lineup, and I mean, they got hitters. Like they got guys that like I mean, IKF is a guy for me that I watched all year. That guy just did his job out there. Bo Bichette. I mean, I don't know really who wouldn't want Bo Bichette on their team. Um,
I think he finished
guys
in
like
the top
that.
5 in hits.
There you go. I mean, Vladimir. I mean, these guys know how to hit. I think it's really. I mean, it's playoff baseball, so it always comes down to pitching. But this series to me is really going to come down to pitching. Um, and yeah, it's going to be very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see Toronto do something. I was in Toronto a few years ago, and I was watching the game they got eliminated. And I was around a bunch of Jays fans and stuff, and I think they were winning the game or something. They blew it. They absolutely choked. Like they were up like 5 or 6-0. And it was game. I even forget who they were playing. Honestly, I like lived to forget that game. Um, and they just absolutely choked and lost. And it was like I was telling people, I was like, dude, this is the Jays' year. Like these guys are hot. Like they look good. I think Toronto's due for a championship.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's nice to see them back in the swing of things. They had a great freaking season. Yeah, I'm really hoping that they kind of pull through here. Not to be, not to disrespect
Yeah,
the Yankees or anything,
I
but
understand. It's okay. No, like as a Yankee fan, obviously I want the Yankees to win the World Series every year, obviously. But looking at the Blue Jays and what they have done all season long, just as a baseball fan in general, this team isn't gonna hit for power every single game. They're not going to be stealing bases every single game, but they are going to be a team that gets on base. They're going to manufacture their runs. They're going to turn things over to their bullpen at the right time. They're well managed. They're well coached. They're a team that is going to find a way to win, and they don't really care how it gets done. If they got to play small ball, they're going to play small ball. If they got to go deep, they're going to find a guy that steps up and takes the ball out of the yard. That's the kind of
yeah,
baseball the Jays play. And I think if they can keep the Yankees' offensive power at bay, they're going to come away with a win here in probably 4 games. Like it
yeah,
would not surprise me. In a 5-game series, I never anticipate a sweep in a 5 or in a 7-game set. I don't. I don't.
right,
It's baseball is such a game of parity. It's hard to say, oh, they're going to sweep. So
yeah,
I think the Blue Jays probably are going to take this one in 4 realistically. I want the Yankees, obviously, but I really do believe that the Blue Jays have every tool in their tool belt to beat the New York Yankees, despite having overall disadvantages at nearly every position on the field. As long as your bullpen's
right,
solid, they're going to be okay.
yeah. That's what it's gonna come down to, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean I'm gonna go 5 games. I'm gonna go five games.
This one's going 5.
This one's going 5 for me. I think Yanks are gonna go down 2-rip, come back, and choke in the last
They might.
game.
One series that it's the last series we got to talk about that I'm actually really pumped up for is Detroit Seattle. Everyone's kind of
Yeah,
upset with how
that's gonna be nuts.
Detroit ended the season. It was not good. They blew the AL Central and they did not look good. Throughout the month of
Yeah,
September, the Tigers offense was 7th in the league in strikeouts, 24th in hits, 22nd in home runs, 24th in runs scored, 30th in stolen bases, and 23rd in batting average. Through September, Seattle was 14th in strikeouts offensively, 4th in hits, 1st in home runs, 1st in runs scored, 4th in stolen bases, and 3rd in batting average. Like Seattle, through the month of September, showed that they are a dominant baseball team. And
yeah,
that kind of production is even with Cal Raleigh struggling through the month of September. I think
yeah,
his average was below the Mendoza line at the end of September. Like, he was not performing at his best. And if Cal Raleigh can get back on track, I don't see any way Detroit really stands a chance. But they did win the regular season series 4-2 over Detroit, and 2 of those wins were against Tarek Skubal, who is the front runner for the AL Cy Young. So Seattle's already proven that they can handle Skubal.
Yeah, and I think the difference between, a team like the Tigers who have a guy like Skubal and a team like the Pirates who have Skeens, I don't think their rotation is there as much around Skubal. I mean, Melton, for example, starting game 1, coming up, didn't he have a pretty bad first outing in the playoffs? Like, first game he pitched, wasn't it pretty rough? So
yeah,
I'm not sure what to really expect from the Tigers, honestly, especially after kind of how they finished things up this year when they had the lead, the division, lead for literally the whole season. So I'm not sure. I mean, maybe it could have just, it's a different season now. It's a playoff season, so I'd love to see Detroit do something, go a little further this year. But my money's on Seattle there. Cal Raleigh, Rosarena, Rodriguez, that's like that. Polanco, those are guys that I don't know. I just on paper to me, they got a very powerful lineup in Seattle, and I think being that they're hot right now, they're in a good spot to take down Detroit.
Yeah, I agree. And Seattle versus Toronto, I think, is my matchup for the AL CS. And that's going to be electric as well. I really can't wait for it. I think it's going to be so much fun to watch. I still think my prediction after watching the Wildcard series holds true. I'm predicting Milwaukee versus Seattle for the World Series. Who is your picks right now for the World Series?
People are going to think I know nothing about baseball after this podcast, but I'm going to go with the Phillies, and I'm going to go with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Ooh, that's going to be good. Both of the teams are hot, and I think both of those teams are in a win-now situation.
Yeah. Red, white, and blue, baby.
It's going to be fun. Make sure you come on back right here on Scorebook Stories after the AL and NLDS have concluded. I'm going to have another awesome guest, I promise, to talk more postseason baseball. Hopefully, my picks for the World Series are still in the playoffs when we speak again. Benny, I really appreciate you coming on the show today, man.
Thank you very much, Alec. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, it's always a pleasure to talk baseball.
It is. And who doesn't love talking baseball?
Exactly. All right. Thank you again very much for coming on. Thank you, everybody, for listening right here on Seven Mountains Sports on YouTube channel or on the host of Radio Novo products that we have out there or anywhere else that you're listening to podcasts from. Make sure you are following Seven Mountains Sports on Facebook, X, Instagram, or all of the other social media stuff that we're on. We're everywhere because social media is awesome. Come on back next episode after the divisional series has concluded, and we will preview the championship series and who is going to go to the World Series.